Could you stand to manage your stress a little bit better? If you're like most people on the planet, the answer is probably yes. Perhaps you already have a good stress management practice. Maybe you exercise or do yoga, or maybe you're into mindfulness meditation or making sure that you get a good night's sleep. All of those are excellent, and I definitely suggest that you consider doing them. But in this video, I want to talk about another strategy that you can add. It's often overlooked, and it can be a great tool to add to your stress management arsenal. Before we get into the meat of the video, let me just introduce myself. My name is Dr. Patricia Thompson. I'm a corporate psychologist and executive coach and president of Silver Lining Psychology. I have a lot of courses that will help you to get more effective in the workplace. You can check those out on my website, silverliningpsychology.com. And you can also work with me one-on-one as a coach. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell so that you can get notified of future videos that I make on topics to help you to be more successful at work. Okay, so let's get into stress management. Now, when a lot of people think of stress, probably when most of us do, we think about big ticket items that cause us stress. It could be something like a life event, like the death of someone close to us, or a divorce, or perhaps losing a job. It could be other day-to-day stressors in life, like having kids, or having a heavy workload, or trying to find work-life balance. Those are definitely stressors I see a lot of the time. It could be having financial problems. I think we're all familiar with lots of different stresses. And those are ones that are really important to manage, and those are the ones that often get the most attention. But I want to call your attention in this video to the little irritant stressors that happen day to day that can chip away at our quality of life. We call those in psychology daily hassles. So daily hassles, I think of as those little annoyances that happen in your day that maybe just cause some irritation, but added up, they can create more stress in your life. So a classic example might be losing your car keys because you don't have a place for them, or perhaps having a slowly leaking tire that you're constantly having to refill, dripping faucets. Or one really good example for me that I eventually took care of is my pantry. Now that might not sound like a stressor, but hear me out. So I'm not someone who's naturally organized. I can organize myself to the extent that I need to, but it's not like a natural quality of mine like some people. And so the way that my pantry used to be set up was basically that there wasn't a setup. And I kid you not, there would be times where I could open my pantry and it was so overfilled and so disorganized that I might actually have a can fall on me when I opened the door. And so every time that I had to take something out of the pantry, there'd be this little lurch in my stomach, a little annoyance, and I would have to search through it really hard trying to find what I wanted to find. And if you were to ask me if it was stressful, I would have said no. But looking back on it, it was definitely a daily hassle or an irritant. It was something that made my life run a little less smoothly, and it was an ongoing annoyance. So you might be guessing where this video is going in terms of stress management. What I would encourage you to do in terms of developing a strategy to help your stress would be to become aware of the daily hassles in your life and do what you can do to mitigate them. So in my case, for example, and I wish I had a before and after, but I actually took the time to organize my pantry. I got these little bins, you can see the video here, where I would put similar things together. And I did the same with my spices and, different parts of the house. And what it did is it created more efficiency, and it just took away that little bit of annoyance. Today, if I need to find honey, I know exactly I can go to my honey bin and just take it out, and it makes my life so much easier. And again, it's not something that I would have identified as a stressor before, but now that it's gone, I realized the difference in terms of not having that little irritation every day or several times a day in terms of dealing with it. So in the rest of this video, what I want to do is give you some common areas where you might have daily stressors, and then you can start to make a list of them, and then across time, you can chip away at them by taking care of them. Okay, so let's start with potential daily hassles in the workplace. One area where you probably want to start is in your workspace. If your workspace is disorganized and cluttered, research actually suggests that it tends to make you more distracted, because basically what you have to do is kind of filter out the external stimuli that are distracting you so that you can focus on the task at hand. And so the first thing you want to do is make sure that your workspace is organized and clear. And what I suggest just as a daily practice is that when you're finished working, take the 5 minutes that you need to put things away, to put things where they belong, and to get your workspace fresh and clean for the next day. Something else that you want to do is focus on your to-do list. So if you're someone who keeps your task list in a variety of places, and I know a lot of clients who like to write things down, try to find a way to centralize it. I actually found that using an app where I could put everything in one place, put the deadlines, move stuff around, was really helpful to me. And so that could be something that you try to get organized. Similarly, do the same with emails and folders and things along those lines. Make sure that they're organized so that, again, when you need to find something, you'll know where you can find it, and you won't have those moments of having to have the irritation and stress of trying to figure out where you put what. And while we're talking about emails, come up with some practices for keeping track of them. So whether you have a flag system so that you know which ones are done, which ones you need to follow up on, that can be helpful. It can also be helpful to set aside times during the day when you know that you're going to get to them. And I know that some of my clients, a lot of them have email inboxes that can get really, really out of hand. So if you have those routines set in place, that can be really helpful. A lot of us are not commuting anymore, which definitely takes out a daily stressor. But if you still have a commute and it's something that's stressful for you, then try to find ways to make it less stressful. Whether it's finding another route to the office, which you may or may not be able to do, or at least, playing music that you really enjoy, or using that time to talk to friends, or perhaps listening to a podcast. Anything that you can do to take your mind off the fact that you're stuck in a traffic jam and, taking your mind to a more pleasant place can be something to at least make that time a little less of a hassle and a little more enjoyable. There's my cat. Okay, so those are daily hassles in the workplace, and, it's not an exhaustive list. So, what I recommend doing is just as you're going throughout your day, notice those little irritations, make a note of it, and then later on think, is there something that I can do to make this better? Okay, let's talk about daily hassles in the workplace. Not in the workplace, sorry, at home. So the first thing that you want to do is be on the lookout for clutter. So just like I did with my pantry, other things that I've done are, periodically going through my closet. I would have a lot of clothes in there that I just couldn't wear or didn't want to wear. And so it would take time scrolling past all of those to get to the items that I would actually wear. So, a few times a year, you might want to go through your closet and decide what things you might want to donate so that, you have a more efficient morning getting dressed. Something else that you can do is clean out your car. I have an 8-year-old, and sometimes the back seat gets a little bit cluttered because he's always putting stuff in there. And so I make sure periodically to clean that out, vacuum it, get my car fresh and clean, or if you want to, you can get someone else to do it. But again, that's a little less of a daily hassle. When I open the door and let him in and I see that it's clean, I have a different feeling in my body. So that's something else that you can do. I also enjoy using my Alexa. I'm whispering it so that she doesn't respond right now, but I have programmed her so that I can use her a lot of different ways in the around the house to make my life easier. For example, I have actually created a way to connect her to my task list, and so that I can ask her to add tasks as I'm doing things. Or if I'm opening the fridge, I can ask her to add something to my grocery list. Or I can set a reminder to, remind me to do something at a certain time. And the way that that takes away from daily hassles is it gives me one less thing that I have to remember, and it makes my life run more smoothly. So, you might do research into ways that you can program your personal device to help you out, and that can take away from some of the daily hassles as well. Another pretty common daily hassle is housework. There are people who love cleaning up around the house. I am not one of them. And so you want to try to find ways to deal with that daily hassle. One way you could do it would be to create routines around it so that you're not having to do it all at once. So, perhaps Monday is the day for vacuuming, Tuesday is the day for, cleaning out the fridge. Whatever your routine can be helpful. Something that I have done is I occasionally have someone come in to do the cleaning for me. And that is such a massive weight off my shoulders. So that's been something that I enjoy. And then also, if you're someone who tends to do stuff on your own, but you have other people living with you, then make sure that you're delegating stuff to them. My 8-year-old, I have him trained so that he can, clear off his own dishes and put them in the dishwasher. Our cat bowls need to be cleaned every day. And so I have him be the one who brings them down from the cat room to do that. He also is at a point where he can make his breakfast. And I have him unload his lunchbox when he comes home. So those little things that spread the wealth in terms of house cleaning can be really great, and another way to chip away at your daily hassles. So these are just a few examples, but I'm sure you get the point now in terms of what I mean about daily hassles. And so what I would encourage you to do once this video is done is, generate a list. And then you don't want to make it stressful by trying to work through them all at once, but bit by bit, chip away at them and see what a difference they make in your daily life. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell so you'll get notified of more videos that I make. And check me out on silverliningspsychology.com. See ya.